Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about all the news coming out of EVO and more. It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason, how are you doing?
Relaxed, feeling very good after a week in Myrtle Beach with the family. Weather was great. Only had rain the last day. Held off to the last day, which was nice. Did rain like hell on the way home, though. And rain plus holiday traffic plus Washington, D.C. It's not a good combination.
Yeah, probably not.
But now I'm feeling good. Getting ready to get back into the grind here. Enjoyed Fishing Week. Really enjoyed what you all did last week for Fishing Week. I was also very happy to see Dan caught his white whale on Fishing Week and completed Space Ace, much to the delight of everyone.
Biggest fish caught that week for sure.
Big week here at Giant Bomb. It was great to watch from poolside. You guys did some good work. And I don't know what that was. Umagari? Is that what it's called?
Umagari, yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Normal fishing game, just super normal. People should go check out the playthrough. Yeah, some stuff happened in that game for sure, but it's a full playthrough, so people can watch that. I just did that Monday through Friday last week for Fishing Week, and that was a good time. Had a fun time hanging out with chat in the morning, playing that game. I think that slot in the morning, it's summer. It's easier to do that when the kids are off of school. I might try to catch up on Skies of Arcadia, see if we can't finish that game. I was playing that before and encountered some errors with the emulation where every time I would open the store, the game would crash. Well, I got to shoot GameCube back there. Let's just use that. I'll just get that out. And might have to start over, but maybe if I have to, that's no big deal. We weren't that far into it in the first place. So yeah, maybe Skies of Arcadia this summer. That'll be part of a summer of Grubb in the morning here. But I'm going to take some time off first. I got a vacation coming up. So
there you go.
We'll get into that after that. But yeah, Jason, let's get into things. It's Monday. Let's get started. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is a Giant Bomb. Let's explain ourselves. If you go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member, it gets you access to ad-free versions of our shows. It gets you access to premium-only exclusive shows, of which there are many, and it's an ever-growing list. We're working on new stuff right now. But what it really gets you is the satisfaction of knowing you're supporting independent games media. We're out here doing this thing. We want to keep doing it, and we can with your help, and we really appreciate everyone who has supported us so far. It's a never-ending battle, so let's keep it going, everybody. We really, really appreciate it. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS feed, on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Reading's hard in the morning, everybody.
Hey, all right. Vacation brain already. It happens.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. All right. We have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess here with that EVO news roundup. Jason, you've been paying attention to this stuff. Let's run me through this here pretty quick. Let's start here. Samurai Outriders join Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls.
Yes, so the final team for Marvel Tokon was revealed. We already knew Ghost Rider was the leader, but he is bringing in with him 3. Yes, so Blade is one. Blade, a highly requested character, makes his debut. Looks super cool in that brief trailer that we saw. Loki makes his Marvel fighting game debut, I believe, and no other Marvel games before this has Loki ever been playable. He looks really neat. Looks like your classic trickster trap style character, as is befitting. And then Deadpool marked the final part of the trailer, voiced by Nolan North, as was as it should be. But what's interesting about Deadpool is if you read the PlayStation blog that came out after, it sounds like his fourth wall breaking is him going into the real world, finding a fighting game strategy guide and using a bunch of moves from a bunch of different fighting games in his moveset. So in the trailer, we see him do Scorpion Spear and Uppercut, and then he pops up on the side of the screen and says Toasty.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Does Dr. Doom's foot dive. He puts like jet boosters on his legs and does the foot dive. He does the Tatsugeki, I think is how you say it. The dolphin move from Guilty Gear Strive. Johnny Cage's nut punches in there. And who knows, however else. There's another part where he jumps up and he throws a bunch of stuff and he says, "Random bullshit, go," from that Moon Knight, Moon Knight meme. But if you look real close, the things that he's throwing are Polygon Man.
Oh, wow.
The PlayStation Polygon Man. So
incredible.
Who knows how referential. Oh, when he does the Jacko pose for his crouch.
Yes,
Jacko
I did
pose.
see that. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But so, yeah, he's just going to be like a love letter to fighting games, which is really, really neat and a great way to cap off, which is slowly looking like one of the premier fighting games of our era, man. The more that comes out from this,
I hope
the more improvements they make. It just seems really cool. Oh, and Blade will be playable in an open beta July 24th to the 26th, PS5 and PC crossplay.
Did people get their hands on any of these new characters or really anything?
Magneto was on the floor at Evo.
So is that the word? Is like, man, people are noticing the improvements? Is that like the word going around?
There's a lot of footage that has been shown from the Evo floor with a lot of big improvements that they have made. A lot of the reception I've got from friends who were there say that it feels completely different even from that second beta. There's a lot of things that you can notice, and it's going to be it's going to be fun. I really do think it's shaping up nicely. And no, Kane Highwind, I will not say Tatsugeki like May does. I will not do it. Sorry. Anyway, so that was the Tokon news for Fatal Fury. Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. We knew he was in the game.
Yes,
but they shadow dropped him. He is out now.
Great.
I had the opportunity to preview him. I've been playing with him for the past couple of days while I was on vacation. He's pretty neat. I don't know enough about Fist from the North Star to get the references, but he certainly plays like really fun. This one's wild. Art of Fighting 3, The Path of the Warrior, SNK decided, hey, we're going to revive this, rebalance it, and add a new character because you all have been pining for Art of Fighting 3 for so long now. All 5 of you, here you go. So they're doing that. Who knows why? That was the second of 2 retro revivals they confirmed. Ninja Masters, a very obscure fighting game from SNK's library, shadow dropped onto Steam after being announced like 2 weeks ago. So that's an interesting bit of SNK information there. That's the 3 things they had. 2XKO, Lux, and Samira are the next 2 champions coming to 2XKO. And I got to tell you, watching high-level 2XKO at this show is awesome. Man, that game looks really cool to watch. And I really like the dynamic of like the final match, the grand final, was this guy Hikaru, who was playing by himself, both teams, versus Sonic Fox, and the other guy's name eludes me. The chat can back me up here, but they were each playing a different character. So you can either go by yourself or you can team it up. I love that. That's so cool.
That's so cool.
And the guy who was by himself came out on top, ran it back in grand finals, reset it, and won the whole thing with some awesome Akari and Ari play. Very, very neat. But also what Sonic Fox and his partner were doing in Zem. Thank you, Salty Struggle. What they were doing with Jinx and Teemo, just filling the screen with projectiles and saying, come and get me. That's some Marvel versus Capcom 3 Morrigan bullshit that I love that. I love the way they played it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Invincible Versus Season 1 was fully detailed. We knew the 2 playable characters, the Immortal and Universa, were coming, but they've also detailed some of the premium skins that'll be part of it. Basically, it's the Thula, Anissa, and Lucan in their blending in costumes. Lucan looks just like Steve Harvey, as he should. And they gave the Immortal Honest Abe, so he's dressed like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I wonder if they're going to do anything with that. That's such a good joke in that book. Man, I love that too.
Yeah. So that was revealed there. Oh, this is interesting. So Virtua Fighter Crossroads had a new trailer. Character named the Bakanawa Killer, right? They show some of his fighting style, his moveset. They show an interaction between him and Pai Chan where she's like, this is not possible. Who are you? We don't know if it's her father, Lao Chan, which, considering this game is a decade or 2 after Virtua Fighter 5, how is he even friggin' alive? Or it's Lei Fei, who is one of their big rivals who Pai had to save Lao from in the last game, if you're a lore nerd like myself. Some people think it's Lei Fei in a mask using both of their movesets in a hybrid, or They cloned Lao as well. Hottie partner just put in the chat. There's a lot of different possibilities, but it was a really cool trailer, and that game just looks great every time I see it.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. Bob is next for Tekken 8. They showed the DLC trailer for Bob with a very fantastic teaser for Roger Jr. at the end. If you've ever seen the video of the kangaroo holding the dog and the guy goes over and like punches the kangaroo in the face.
Yeah.
They did that.
Hell
they did that. Leroy comes in dressed like the guy, and Roger Jr. is holding his pit bull, and he goes, "No, sugar," and he runs over. Roger Jr. stands up, and Leroy just decks him.
Hell yeah.
it's very funny. So that was really cool. Robo Kai coming to Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear, I'm not the most familiar with Guilty Gear. I like Strive, but that's not like, I'm not like a lore dump nerd like some of these other ones. But he seems really fun and whimsical. He can like rip his own head off and fly it around. It's interesting. And then finally, the coolest thing I think from the whole weekend, as far as unique to the fighting game scene, Avatar Legends detailed its first season of DLC, right? Iroh, Ty Lee, and then Lin Beifong and Bo Lin from Korra. So a nice 2 and 2. But then the fifth character can be voted on by the community. And then they gave the 5 options that you can vote for. So Tenzin, Kavira, I think is the name, Amon, King Boomy, who got the loudest cheer. So I think there's a favorite there.
Yeah.
And then Asami. Very interesting format in letting players vote for those characters. Now, I wonder if they have done preliminary work for all those characters, and then they'll choose one to be in this season, and then the other 4 will be season 2, and they'll just do it again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I would hate to see all that work be wasted when I'm very, it's going to be the last character, so maybe they're giving themselves enough time to work on it.
That no matter who they vote for. Right? Yeah.
But you run a risk of giving fans of these characters the opportunity to have them in the game and then not get them. And then they're going to lead all of your, who do you want in season 2? So maybe it's just like, this is what we're planning. Pick the one to come first, and then we'll do the other 4 later.
To me, that's got to be the way it goes down. If they follow through with the season 2 and end up doing more characters, you just get to the rest of these characters in that season. And then maybe have another vote. I don't know.
Yeah, and then do it you're basically guaranteeing yourself future seasons by letting people know these are what we're thinking of. Like I said, pick one now, and then season 2 is already taken care of. Right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But based on crowd reaction to the panel from Friday, if you go back and watch it, King Boomy, the crowd went Boomy, not to make a bad pun, but they were all in on Boomy. So if I had to guess, it's going to be him. But
yeah, there's I see in chat people are Boomy and Amon is what people seem
Amon
to be
is the bloodbender
about.
with the mask.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I'm just getting into Avatar now. Thanks, Magic the Gathering. But yeah, so that's your rundown of all the big news that I could find. I'm sure I missed some. I know
more will trickle out as well. Yeah.
Rivals of Aether 2 was on the main stage. Ludwig himself showed up to talk about that.
Right.
So I'm sure I missed some news there. But these are the things that stuck out to me. You'll note there's no Street Fighter 6 news just because of the way it fell. Yasmin, the first DLC character of the next season, was playable on the floor. So they were able to test her there. She's not out till August, though, I don't think.
Right.
But they just had the big showing at SGF. I'm not surprised. But no real Capcom news at all now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's a little, yes, that's odd, right? Usually we get at least something from them. I guess you're right. It probably is just how the timing is working out.
Yeah. They're just letting people. Now, I will say, Yasmin is scheduled for right around the time Evo usually is. Evo is usually that last weekend in July, first weekend in August. This year it would have been 31-1-2, and she's planned for the 6th. So I wonder if the moving of Evo Vegas kind of screwed up their timing. But whatever, people got to play Yasmin.
Excellent. All right, let's get on here with the other news. I'll just say, coming out of that, hearing good things about Tokon, very exciting. That's I want that game to be good. All right, up next, Splatoon Raiders Direct tomorrow, followed by a Treehouse from Nintendo. This message does come from Nintendo. Join us on June 30th, June 30th at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. UK time for the Splatoon Raiders Direct, followed by Nintendo Treehouse Live Splatoon Raiders. The live stream will kick off with Splatoon Raiders Direct on June 30th, which will run for roughly 15 minutes and provide more info on the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 game. Afterward, Nintendo Treehouse Live Splatoon Raiders will showcase even more Splatoon Raiders gameplay and last around 30 minutes. You can watch the videos on Nintendo Today, YouTube, and Twitch. They also said, additionally, a Splatoon Raiders prequel comic, Deep Cuts Island Misadventures, is now rolling out daily until July 22nd on the Nintendo Today app for smart devices. So another reason to run out and get the Nintendo Today app, like all the kids are clamoring to do. This seems to be the strat right now from Nintendo. We knew this game was coming. It's getting its own direct, despite having that big direct not too long ago. This is probably what they're going to do with Splatoon Raiders obviously they're doing the Splatoon Raiders. This is probably what they're going to do with Zelda and Duskbloods, right? The reason we didn't get huge amounts of information from those games at Summer Game Fest and that Nintendo Direct at that time is because this is the move. This is how they do things. They want to give each game more time to breathe, and because they have the Nintendo Today app, they have this feeling like, hey, we could talk to people directly through that. I guess let's start with Splatoon Raiders. What are you expecting from this? Because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It seems like it might be just a standalone version of some of the stuff they've done before, some of those roguelite modes or the platforming run and gun adventure games, kind of all mashed together into something slightly bigger. But this is a discounted price game. I believe it's $50, maybe less. So what are your expectations for this Direct?
Well, I think they might go heavy on what you were saying, expanding on the single player or even co-op modes. There's co-op in this too, right?
I think so.
Yes?
I think there will be, yes.
Of those other games. I think the reason it's discounted is because it doesn't have the multiplayer that has made Splatoon what it is, right?
Yes,
They're just focusing on these adventure or roguelite modes for something new. And I think that's kind of cool, right? Because I think people find the world of Splatoon, the universe that they have built, very interesting. So to give fans a way to explore it without having to expand the story a little bit in a different way, and maybe even experiment with some things that they can carry over to the multiplayer experience in that Splatoon 4. I think they're really smart about this. And I also agree with you that the focused directs on particular games is going to be the move. You'll probably see it for Fire Emblem. You'll probably see it for the Duskbloods whenever that comes out. You'll see it for Zelda. The only thing I ask, Nintendo, humbly ask, is that you don't use these focused directs to announce the fucking game 15 minutes before the direct airs. Don't do the Star Fox thing again, okay? Give me a single day to be in this chair and watch the direct. Don't catch me, that I loved it. Don't get me wrong. It was really cool to see that buzz on it worked. Sure. Yeah. For what they wanted to do, but selfishly, fucking no. Let me be home.
Don't pull that shit again. Exactly. Yeah. I think I'm starting to get pretty excited for this game. I do like Splatoon's style, its aesthetic, its music and stuff like that. So getting back into that world, and I like the single player stuff a lot in those games. So to have a game that's no, just do that stuff and focus on that, that will be kind of something of a relief, where it's oh yeah, instead of feeling bad about missing out on some of this content because I keep playing the multiplayer, I can just focus on that. Obviously that's a me problem. I always could have just played that single player content, but now I definitely will with this game, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I expect this to be the move. We'll get through this, these parts of summer. The games that are coming are going to come. Fire Emblem is we have a date, and that's soon. Still, that's before the end of summer, right? I want to say that's August, maybe even.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, take a look.
Fact checking. Fortune's Weave. September 17th.
September 7th. Okay, all right, wow, that's right. It's one of those September games. Yes. Okay, we'll get on the other side of that, and then they'll have to really set up their fall, and they'll probably do that with specific directs for, I think, probably at the very least, Duskbloods and Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
All right. some stores are apparently selling out of copies of Star Fox. Star Fox launched on Thursday, and it's been a fantastic recreation of the classic N64 game. And now people are going into stores and finding out that it is sold out physically. The one person, Garlador, here on, I believe, Twitter, said multiple stores in my area are completely sold out of Star Fox, and I'm not even upset. This is great news for the franchise. Of course, that's anecdotal. So then here's something that's not anecdotal. Star Fox is the #1 best-selling game in the UK for the last week and sold double the sales of Star Fox Zero on Wii U. This is from My Nintendo News. The charts are in from the largest gaming market in Europe, the United Kingdom, and Star Fox has topped the physical video game chart, landing at #1. The game business editor Christopher Dring has said that the wonderfully enhanced remake of Star Fox 64 sold double that of Star Fox Zero for the Wii U, and that sales are up 70% from Star Fox 64 3D launch on the Nintendo 3DS. Sadly, we don't have digital sales data, but on the physical front, Star Fox on Switch 2 has proved to be a hit for Switch 2. I think you could probably expect that the digital sales make up a stronger portion of this game than either of those previous ones. So the fact that it's doubling the physical sales, when physical sales are probably a smaller piece of the greater whole for this game than they were for those games, obviously, then yeah, this game's probably doing very well, Jason. That seems to be the case. What do you chalk that up to?
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, Glenn Powell moves the needle, huh?
Yes, I think putting Star Fox in the Mario Galaxy movie was very shrewd.
Yeah,
especially when they knew this was coming down the pipeline. Because now the kids are like, "Ooh, I remember him. He looks a little different than he did in the movie, and I wish he looked like he did in the movie, but I'm still going to try it." And now a whole new generation is playing Star Fox 64 the way we played it, but envisioned it in our heads back in the day. I cannot argue with what Nintendo did. I can't argue with it as much as it made me angry about the placement of the Direct. It worked. Here we are. The proof is in the pudding.
I think they lined everything up kind of perfectly. Yeah, where it's they're using sort of all of their tools in the toolbox to give every game the best chance possible, and that like really starts with Smash Brothers. Like if a character's in Smash Brothers, they have a head start. Now, like, don't just use that, though. Like, you have to do a little bit more. What else can you do to sort of remind people, hey, that character that either I loved as a kid in their own games or really know from Smash Brothers, that's going to cover a huge population of people, those two things. Look, they are in the movie. And that reminds me, I like that character a lot. It would be dope if there was a game I could go buy right now, and then Nintendo follows up with the game. And it's I think that the sort of the chain there, and the Direct definitely fits in that, where it's like that built up excitement really seems to have paid off. And I think this is a good reboot for Star Fox in terms of, all right, now can they continue this and do something else, which seems to be the rumor. But yeah, this is good news for Star Fox, and I think. Yeah. There was the question of whether it could do this at all again, and here we are. It is. It's popular.
You have to be impressed. This is Nintendo dabbling with Disney levels of synergy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not something that we have seen from them before to this level of planning. We're talking months of intricately placed announcements and pieces that all had to fall in line for this to happen. And I wonder if they're going to use this as a test case for other properties, other opportunities. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to drop like Marth in the Zelda movie. That's not going to happen. But like, now I've kind of talked myself into it. But like, being able to dabble with maybe like a cameo in the Ocarina of Time remake, like the pictures on the wall, if you recall, in the castle, you could see like Mario and Zelda up there. Maybe they'll put somebody else up there and see how people react to that, or just kind of find other ways to breadcrumb these other franchises that people have wanted for a long time back into prominence. I could see it with F-Zero. I could see it with Earthbound, perhaps. There are ways that they could do this with the games that are coming out,
and they've already done it with Donkey Kong, right? So yeah. So here, we're going to see it repeated a bunch of times. I think. I think it's easier for them to do it within that Zelda live act. Curious to see if they try anything similar in there. They will probably just try to do something within the Zelda universe in the Zelda movie and expand stuff that way. But
Tingle.
Tingle's games are back. A remaster of Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, everybody. Let's go.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break. There's lots of headlines to get to after this. If you want to just skip to that, you can do so. You got to go to giantbomb.com/join, get the ad-free versions of the shows available there. We will be right back. All right, it's Game Mess Mornings. I'm Jeff Grubb. That's Jason Fanelli. Let's get on to the next story here. Class action lawsuit accuses the 3 largest RAM manufacturers of colluding to drive up prices. This is from Lewis Parker at Kotaku. 17 individual plaintiffs, including 3 small businesses, have launched a class action lawsuit in the Northern District of California against the largest RAM and chip manufacturers in the world, that being Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron Technology. The plaintiffs allege that the 3 tech companies are colluding to raise the prices of RAM by keeping supplies artificially low, blaming it all on AI data center-driven Rampocalypse rather than corporate policy. Let's see here. This is the lawsuit was filed earlier this week on June 25th in the California's Northern District Court and lists 3 small computer retailers, Troy's Computer LLC, JP Tech Solutions LLC, and WNTD Fab LLC among its 17 plaintiffs. The plaintiffs claim that Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron Technology are essentially part of a cartel that is collaborating to inflate DRAM and chip prices by controlling the overwhelming majority of the market, while proving that while will obviously be a lot harder than alleging it, it's no secret that the 3 companies own roughly 90% of the DRAM market. I'll tell you what, Valve just kind of suggested cartel-like behavior from these companies recently when it's like, hey, the price is higher for the Steam Machine than we wanted. We thought we were going to get this thing at $750. It's not that price. And the reason is we went to the 3 biggest RAM manufacturers and they all gave us take it or leave it prices. And those prices were pretty similar. And say, oh, okay. So that's not a smoking gun, but that does make you perk up and go, how is it so convenient that it works out for them that despite the fact that this massive company is trying to get you to compete each other for their business, you all go, no thanks, take it or leave it. Why is the competition between you not creating competition between you, you 3 companies? And so, okay, so let's look into it. And now we can, a class action lawsuit, if it goes through, if it doesn't get dismissed or whatever, and who knows, I'm no expert on this, Jason. There's a million reasons stuff like that could happen. But if we get to discovery, all it takes is a couple of emails between companies, or even just like a statement from one company being like, we don't have to lower prices because we can set stuff, whatever, because we know we're not going to get competition from these other companies. That could be enough to sort of be like, okay, something should be done here. But am I getting my hopes up, Jason, that something could happen to make the world feel normal again? And that's unlikely.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on anything happening in this current day and age. But this is not the first time these companies have been accused of these things. I will direct you to the Blue Sky account of your friend and mine, Lex Luddy, who brought up a couple hours ago that memory manufacturers, including Samsung, Hynix, and Micron, were found to be an actual dictionary definition of cartel back in the 2000s and were again accused of illegal price fixing in the 2010s. They have been trying to screw you for literal decades. That is her commentary, not mine, but it is the truth, it seems. So if we get to discovery, we also have precedent. Maybe there could be something that happens where it's just so undeniable that they have to, reel it in somehow. Now, what that would look like, I don't know. I don't know if this is something that could probably go all the way up the chain, and who knows what happens when it gets to the top court in the land. They seem to be busy today, but I don't know what's going on with them specifically. I'm not confident that anything's going to happen, but the fact that anyone has even taken the initiative to look into it works for me. If the national hero of our time in the DRAM crisis is Troy's Computers et al.
Hell yeah.
Go get them, Troy. Go get them.
Do work, Troy. Get them. Get their ass. Troy and JB.
And win it. WNTD stab.
This is hopefully the start of like a sea change in this sort of thing. But like that, really what's most important is to keep the AI speculative bubble going for the people who are actually in charge of all this stuff. It like you could, and if you need evidence of like how things favor that, what is more immutable and sort of rock solid than IP copyright law? And yet, when it comes to AI, that stuff goes out the window and does not matter anymore. But if you try to download an illegal song, you could go to jail. Not illegal. So if you try to download a song illegally, you could go to prison or whatever. So it's kind of weird change in policy when it comes to copyright law. Now that it's time to protect this business that's really propping up the stock market, and that's of course what it's all about.
I'm sorry. I said Troy. And now chat has turned into a bunch of High School Musical references. So now I'm just thinking of
we don't know it's not the same Troy.
All of these small businesses going into the courtroom being like, we're all in this together, right? Oh my God. Chat, you got to stop. You're killing me. You're killing me, beautiful.
Chat. Shouts out to Troy and it all. All right, let's see here. Donkey Kong 64 recompiled for PC coming in the next few months. This is like a real project here. It's not something that's being slapped together with AI. But yes, this is part of the decompiled stuff that's been happening with N64 games. And now a team is going to recompile it so that you can run it natively on pretty much anything, but PC, and then it can have randomizers and mods and widescreen support and all kinds of other stuff. That will be coming, in the next few months. They do expect to have Windows, Mac OS, and Linux versions ready to go with 60 frames per second and all that stuff. So Mike's got to play it again, right?
Yeah, the Donkey Kong 64 renaissance, I feel like, started with him, because right after he was done, they put it on the Switch too. Now we've got the recompiled. Like, what's going on with this game? Are we gonna get Lanky and Chunky back?
There's just like a war room where all these people from Nintendo and this recompiling project are sitting there, and they're like, we just need one more person to 100% it. And it's been years since someone did that, and they're like, all right,
Mike did it.
H-Bomber guy did it. All right, who's going to be the next person? And then finally Mike did it, and that clicked it over, and like, okay, press the button. Here we are.
And then Stephanie Brownback from NetherRealm, I saw she did it as well recently. So all of a sudden there's all these people doing 101%.
Yep. And
then now these folks are going to recompile it. I have two things for you that should strike fear into anyone who's familiar with this game. 101% randomizer.
Yep. Yeah.
Who's going to be crazy enough to do that shit?
Oh man, we got to actually maybe do that to Mike. That would be that actually would be funny. We were joking up until now, but that's actually really funny. All right. GTA 6 has no plans for a post-launch physical release, not at launch and not months later, insists new report. This is from Vicky Blake at Eurogamer. A new report has cast doubt on hopes that a physical version with a disc for Grand Theft Auto 6 will follow the digital release later this year. Earlier this week, the same insider who in February claimed that GTA 6 wouldn't launch with a physical version said that a proper physical edition with a disc will launch in December. However, according to the Hollywood Reporter, a source with knowledge of the release plans says this isn't true. Despite confirming the authenticity of the emails coming from Rockstar, the Hollywood Reporter claims the language is being misinterpreted by a hopeful internet, which is a funny way to put it. People are hoping that we'll do something that is good for them, but they're just being the hopeful internet. Insisting there are still no plans for a physical release, not at launch, and not months later. Now, why would they say one was coming? They want you to buy this version with the code in the box so that you don't wait for the disc. So the person most likely to want a disc for whatever reason, either to collect or to resell, is unlikely to get that version. They want you to just be stuck with the version you have. I still think there's a chance a disc version comes later, but I always thought it would be next year or alongside. I mean, I guess they probably are playing the long game here, right? Because the next gen consoles, when they do come, when they have a new version of GTA 6 to go alongside that, which is how they do things, there's a strong chance the vast majority of those consoles, if anyone can afford them, won't have a disk drive in them at all. So they're probably just setting themselves up for the future. So I guess maybe I'm more 50-50 on this than I thought. Jason, where are you at?
I think you won't see a physical copy of GTA 6 on a disc until they have sufficiently wrung the towel dry
Sure.
from all digital sales you could possibly get. Because there is something to be said about repeat purchases. There are sickos out there who will buy it digitally just to be able to play it. And then as soon as the physical game comes out, buy it to have a copy on their shelf and will have purchased it twice.
Yep.
Especially if that physical version comes with a shark card for some extra GTA Online cash, or it comes with GTAO whenever that happens, and you need the disc for extra data to make GTAO run so that you don't have 200 gigs on your hard drive. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. They will only do that when it makes irrefutable, perfect sense. And I do not see that happening anytime soon.
I think like I could see like for one of these follow-up launches, especially for the consoles, like maybe there is like an ultimate version that is more so than like the collector's edition they have now, the $100 version, like a super ultimate that is $150, $160, $200, and that comes on a disc maybe.
Like with a statue or the paper
Yes.
map that chat is now ravenous for.
Yeah.
Which there should be a paper map. There's been a paper map, I think, for every GTA ever made, correct?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But also, too, you then give them the idea to do what Square Enix does, and that's release collector's editions of games that don't even have the friggin' game in them.
Yep.
So they're just extra stuff for people who are really big fans, who have maybe already bought the game. But I don't think they have to do anything physical right now. I think this is just one of those stories born from the controversy that came from them going all digital, despite them going all digital, making perfect sense. It does feel like a little bit of a slap in the face to make a physical copy with a digital code in it. I get the chagrin there, but I don't see. Physical is slowly becoming a thing of the past, and the only people that are hanging on to it are the olds like you and I. And the sooner the majority comes around to it, the better. Or not the better, that the sooner they'll be completely extinct. And I think this actually could be one of the final nails in the coffin. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely Rockstar taking disc games behind the shed and shooting them, being the ones that do it. It was already a sick dog, right? And now here they are, like and that's like everyone's going. We'd rather you try to save the dog. Like that would have been better. Could we just like treat it nicely and kind of give it a as long a life as possible? And Rockstar's no, that we make more money this way. And
it's like,
yeah,
come on, dog, behind the woodshed.
And we know we can get away with it. And so yeah, there was all that talk of like, will Rockstar and Take-Two set the price at $80 to sort of open up the $80 window back open for the rest of the industry? And we weren't talking about this of like, oh yeah, they could also be the ones to sort of set this precedent for the industry as well. And like, we know it's coming. We know this is inevitable. We've seen what happened on PC gaming. We've seen what's happened with music and movies. We all get it, but there's a stubbornness to gamers that isn't actually in a lot of other markets. It's and the big part of that is we spend more money per copy of entertainment than all these other industries for the most part. So we kind of feel like we should have more say. And so yeah, and part of that's been like people want to get the disc. I think the biggest part of that is so they can resell it and get some of their money back. Because when they're done with it, they want to be done with it and keep that sort of churning back into new games. And I feel the worst for those people. You know, it's Nintendo's got a solution for you. It is game key cards, and while those suck, it's clearly better than this. But yeah, I think the real sort of thing here, not the real, but one of the other things here is, yeah, they probably do want to keep selling these Grand Theft Auto physical editions with the code inside the box to the same people over and over again for the shark cards. And actually just removing the 10 cents to print the disc, actually it will add up over time. So they just like, hey, we can do this instead. And but then go ahead.
It runs a huge risk. They better pray that those servers for Xbox and PlayStation or have a preload system in place where people can sort of mitigate that and preload it a week before, 2 weeks before, whatever it is. Because if you're going all digital and either the game can't download on launch day, or for whatever reason, the servers that I imagine there's going to be some sort of like, not DRM, but like verification that it's a legitimate copy that you purchased digitally.
Right. Yeah. Authentication.
Those things, if any of those are fucked, people are going to lose their goddamn minds more than ever any other game because it's all digital. So I hope they have the systems in place, and I hope they're working with both Xbox and PlayStation. Chad is telling me there's going to be a preload, so hopefully enough people do that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But
I think that starts November 12th.
Show.
Yeah.
Okay, good. If that's a shit show, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shit show, and it won't matter to them. Like they'll already have your money, and what are you going to do? Not try to download and play it? Like that's what they're saying to themselves over and over again. I don't know if there's anything that they could, like any sort of rake waiting for them to step on that can actually hurt them. But yeah, we'll see. I said 10 cents per disc. It's like 50 cents for a Blu-ray disc, actually. So yeah, that does add up over time. But fuck you guys. Keep printing the discs. Do something. I just don't think that this is, none of these excuses or none of these reasonings are good enough for the person that actually spending the money. If you want a disc, you should be able to get a disc still. All right, Xbox disputes reports of PS5 crushing GTA 6 pre-order demand. This is from Jennifer Young at Windows Central. Basically, there was a report from IGN talking to, they said based on their affiliate data, that PlayStation is outperforming Xbox on GTA 6 pre-orders by a rate of 8-1. Windows Central received a statement from an Xbox spokesperson who said, "This doesn't represent pre-order data. We've had record pre-orders. People should wait for real data and not clicks on affiliate links," which, a little bit snippy there, maybe. I don't get why they are saying anything at all. Like, I just.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a no comment. This is a shut the fuck up Friday.
It's like, what does it matter? It just makes you look weaker if you need to respond to all these things.
Right. And then if the data comes out and they're getting smashed 8-1, they're going to look real stupid. Like, what? They cannot shut the fuck up. The Xbox cannot help themselves right now. They have to say everything.
Yeah, they're too online, the Streisand effect. Yeah.
All of it. What are you doing? Stop it. Settle down. Work on your internal strategy about people or whatever the fuck you're going to do. And just don't appeal to these, not to Windows Central. They probably just asked for a comment and got a comment back. I'm more talking about the social media people, but just don't answer. No comment. Leave it alone. Ignore it. Don't put in the paper that we were mad. There you go. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Like, we should not be talking about this because they shouldn't have said anything. They should have just left it alone. But they can't help themselves right now. Phil, for all of Phil's apparent faults, he at least knew when to shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Right. So what are we doing here? I don't get it. Nothing about Xbox makes any sense.
Yeah, right. I mean, I do think that's a culture that started under Phil, but they're like, yeah, you're right. I don't think they would have addressed this specifically. This is this is a step up of being too online. I'll jump ahead to this one real quick. It was like, okay, 8-1 does sound a bit extreme. It's not out of the realm of possibility, just because maybe people are so burnt out on believing in Xbox that they're not even going to get Grand Theft Auto on there. They're just going to try to get the PlayStation instead. But we do have numbers of from Andy Robinson at VGC, who actually I think got this from Chris String again, that typically PS5 captures about 3 out of every 4 copies sold of new AAA single player games at launch. So it's 75 to 85%. So yeah, in that range. And that sounds like that's what I expect with Grand Theft Auto 6 as well. I expect that to be PlayStation 3 to every 1 copy for Xbox, but maybe that's slipping and getting worse, Jason. I don't know. What do you think?
I would not be surprised, because Xbox is, as much as they want to appear like they have, like all this front facing, we love the fan stuff, we can all see through that now. There are enough reports to show us that that's just bullshit, right? And that bullshit erodes trust. And when you erode trust, you're going to go to the other side. And the other side in this case is PlayStation. They have always been behind in consoles, except for one flash in the pan in the mid to late 2000s with the Xbox 360. And even then, they almost shot themselves in the foot with red rings, right?
Yep. Hey, they lost a lot of money.
They lost a lot of money doing that. They cannot afford to do dumb shit like this. They just simply can't afford it.
Yeah.
And somebody in the chat said, so what, IGN just gets to lie? No, if it's their internal affiliate data.
Yeah.
And that's what they're seeing.
Right, exactly.
It's what they have. It may not paint the whole picture, but it's what they have. And they're the biggest friggin' gaming website in the world.
Yep.
So, like, I'm not saying it's the full picture, but it's noteworthy data.
Yeah, and I do get the sense that the IGN audience does skew towards PlayStation anyhow. So I bet this data is 100% accurate for IGN.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Well, then I'm skip this one. Xbox reportedly pausing new third-party Game Pass deals. Developers say, this is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Xbox is slowing down the frequency of third-party Xbox Game Pass deals, according to Fernando Rizzo, partner at Caboodle Games, citing conversations with fellow developers. While Xbox Game Pass has largely sold itself on the inclusion of first-party Microsoft games at launch, the service has also been home to many third-party titles, both AAA and indie. Specifically in the indie space, these Game Pass deals have often been lauded as a way to mitigate risk for developers, offering guaranteed money rather than facing market uncertainty. Now, speaking on the Business of Video Games podcast, hosted by Shams Georgiani, CEO of Arrowhead Game Studio, Rizzo alleged that those Game Pass deals may be slowing down amid an uncertain period for Microsoft's gaming brand. They do have a quote there, but they kind of sort of just repeat that, where they talk to other developers and they're saying that maybe something is up here. And yeah, that would be, I guess, also not too surprising, other than the fact that they have not really slipped on this in the last several years. This has been pretty consistent. You can find third-party games in Game Pass at a pretty rapid clip. So then pulling back on that probably says they're rethinking a lot of things. Jason, what do you think?
It just goes back to what we were saying earlier. I don't think they know. I honestly don't think they know what they're doing, if I'm being completely frank. And they're just trying to find all these other ways to either change up things to make more money or to make deals more compatible to them. The fact that they're in these advanced discussions and, quote, getting the rug pulled out from under them, it just shows an internal chaos that we are not privy to. And it's going to rear its ugly head in myriad ways. Random bullshit go. Exactly. It does not look like a company that has their head on straight. None of this does. And when Game Pass was such a big part of your strategy from when did it debut? 2017, 2018?
That sounds generally right. Yeah.
From then until now, they just seem like they're flailing. And I don't know if it's pressure from the top that's making it do that. I don't know if they're all just going through AI psychosis that's making them do all these goofy things, or if they're just listening to what Copilot tells them to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck it is, but none of it makes any sense. And I don't know that it's ever going to start making sense with this current leadership.
There will always be a move that's been wait, isn't this counter to what you were just doing? And isn't this counter to what you're saying publicly? I think that's what you're getting at here, where it's all through Summer Game Fest, they're so positive and they're putting on the glitz and glam and they are pounding their chest and showing just strength to the world. And then everything since then has felt like the opposite of that. And this is this sounds like you're deprecating Game Pass to a certain extent. And yeah, as Jordan points out here, this service has primarily been sold on the first party games. But you took Call of Duty out, so that's one that's out of there. In fact, they have a big post on Blue Sky or on social media where it's hey, Call of Duty coming soon, not on Game Pass, in big bold letters there. They want people to not associate Game Pass with that game anymore. And yeah, so they just want to save money and not saying they want to like cut the money they're spending like crazy. And this seems just like one of those buckets where like, hey, let's put a little bit less money into there. And that adds up quick for, excuse me, a lot of developers who are probably relying on that money, who got used to that because it was so consistent for so many years. And now it's evaporating. And Xbox, like you said, just there's no like public messaging on this. There's no sort of like, here's what you can expect from the future at Game Pass. It's still just like, hey, yeah, everything's going great over here. You should keep buying Xboxes for $1,000.
Yeah, look at this hand, not this one. Don't look at what this hand's doing. Exactly.
Yep. All right, let's see. Last story here. Sony says it doesn't plan to sell hardware at a significant loss, but is monitoring the market with the PS6 in mind. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Sony has addressed the ongoing increase in component cost, saying it doesn't intend to sell hardware at a loss, but is monitoring the market. During a Q&A session held at a recent meeting based around the company's Game and Network Services division, one attendee asked Sony executives to provide an update on their current thinking regarding hardware pricing and profitability. Specifically referring to the next generation platform, the attendee asked the executives whether it was reasonable to assume that your pricing will continue to prioritize profitability of the hardware as it does today. The official answer given by Sony's transcript from the Q&A noted that it considers its hardware to be one of the most important parts of the gaming experience and that it wants to make sure users recognize the value offered by its hardware. It also stated that the company doesn't plan to sell hardware at a loss as a matter of principle, but that it's currently monitoring the market situation. First, we regard hardware as the base for providing the gaming experience, which is kind of repeating what we just heard. But as for pricing, it is not realistic for us to absorb all component cost increases. And we have already implemented some price increases outside Japan. At present, however, sales are proceeding as planned, and we do not believe this has led to a decline in customer demand. It's not led to a decline in customer demand. We know that. I think it has led to a somewhat noticeable decline in sort of people executing on those purchases, but we know people want to be playing games. But yeah, speaking long term, this is just them saying PS6 is going to cost what it's going to cost, and with the PS5 Pro out there at $900, you can kind of set that as the bar there for the expectation. That's my interpretation. Jason, is there anything else here that's worth pulling out?
Look, they're going to sell at a loss. Either it's going to be a loss of finances by making the price not conducive with how much it costs to make it, or the loss of sales figures comparative to the previous generation. Either way, there's going to be a difference between PS5 and PS6, and it's up to them to choose which one it's going to be, and they're going to choose the lack of sales figures because they're going to sell this thing. If I had to guess right now, sitting here, there's going to be two options, and I have no inside data. I am truly talking straight out of my asshole. 1,000 and 1,200 or 11, 1,300, somewhere in there. Yep. I don't think it's going to get up to 1,500. That I think is a little too extreme, or maybe I'm just glass half full. I don't know, but I think 10 to 11 for a lesser model, 100, and then 12 to 1,300 for a larger model with like a bigger hard drive or something like that is where I think it's going to sit.
It's going to be, yes, the cheapest it's going to be is $1,000, says Katie Katz up. Right. That is the absolute floor, it feels like. Yeah. That's going to be rough because, again, I think the thing I've been talking about for years now, Jason, is what is the gimmick you're selling this thing on? You know, you go back to the beginning, you know, PlayStation 3D gaming, PlayStation 2, DVDs, PlayStation 3. That was Blu-rays,
cell
right?
Processor.
Yeah, we have cell processor. Yes, exactly. Like Blu-rays. These are things, big gimmicks, that like technological changes that people wanted to get on board for. PlayStation 4 was like, okay, well, we're kind of getting back to gaming, and we're just gonna like make a lot of really good first-party games. But really, it was like, this is the system that people actually feel good about compared to the Xbox. They sort of lucked out on that generation, and it really paid off for them. But then they went PS4, and that was PS4 Pro. That was 4K, and that's sort of the last gimmick in the bag there. Like, what can you do now? They don't have anything. There was, even Nvidia didn't have anything, which is why they were making ray tracing such a big deal for the last 5 years, and that hasn't really worked. So these companies that have run out of these tricks of to create FOMO, to create forced obsolescence, they need to like come up with other things, and there's just not a lot of fertile ground to go to there. So they're already going to struggle to position the PS6 as something you need to have, because your games are just not going to look that much better than they do on the PS5 in general. And then it's going to be way more expensive. And the games that they've been making are taking longer and longer. So that those exclusives that are coming back, yeah, there will be some, but are there going to be enough? It's especially after people feel maybe a little bit burned, like jumping on the PS5 early and not seeing a lot of games where it's like, hey, is this generation really started? I think that they're going to have an uphill battle no matter what. And this pricing is just going to absolutely be just throwing shit at them as they try to climb up that hill, Jason.
It's bleak. It is. I do not envy being in their position. As someone pointed out in the chat, the gimmick for PS5 arguably was the SSD and the way that the games read off of the SSD.
Yeah, like that's the thing that they tried to make that the gimmick. They also tried to make 8K a gimmick early on, where like that was on the box and stuff like that. I don't know how much that moved the needle for people. SSD is clearly better like than what we had for PS4, so it did make a huge difference. But
sure.
yeah.
I don't. Like I said, I don't envy them having to make these decisions. No matter what they come out at, people are going to be, gone are the days of $599 being controversial. If anything, people would hear that and be like, "We're so sorry, we doubted you,
relieved,
Kaz.
yeah.
Come back." It's not good, and I don't see it getting good anytime soon. If I were them, I would. You can't really do this because you probably spent so much on R&D, but like shelf the PS6 for a little while and just continue to focus on PS5 until this wave passes, if it ever passes. But again, it sounds like they're operating on the fact that it may never pass. So do they wait until forever, or do they strike now and just deal with it?
Yeah, you can't time the market. Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible. And we all suffer as a result.
Yep. That's good. Worth pointing out, though, that you're right. Like, they spend a lot of money on research and development, and not just that, like the machining and lining up manufacturing partners and all this stuff, maybe with the expectation that a PS6 would come out next year. It would just cost them a lot of money to sort of halt that train. And they're going to probably just be like, man, we got to put this thing out no matter what and just figure this out. So this could be a real mess. All right, let's see here. That does it for the headlines. No poll question to catch up on because on the last show we did the Bomb 12. But we do have a new poll question we'll get to here in a second. Before we do that, Jason Fanelli, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, and all of that good stuff?
JasonFanelli.com on Blue Sky, Big Man Fanelli on Instagram are the two social media I am most active on. Just getting back from vacation, so getting my feet from underneath me. My SGF content is mostly all out now. I think there's one or two more that are still lingering in the ether. 5 on Kotaku, 2 on VGC, couple on But Why Though, and then one coming to MMORPG. That's where the spread is. Go check that out. I did the Evo roundup that we talked about at the top of the show is going to be on GameSpot shortly. Just have to do a couple of tweaks on that one. Couple of things in the pipeline can't quite talk about yet. Not sure if they're going to happen, but if they do, I will be very excited about them. So be sure to check me out on there. And one thing I did want to add to that Evo roundup that I forgot, along with the Invincible Season 1 DLC, they also confirmed that the fighter for Season 2 will be one Angstrom Levy.
Hell yeah.
Which will be a very interesting addition. So yes. I did forget about that. But that's me, JasonFanelli.com on Blue Sky. Like I said, Big Man Fanelli on Instagram. And yeah, man, it's video games. That's what it is.
Video games. Yep. There's plenty of great video games to play. That's the thing. It's people are not going to stop playing video games no matter what, but might just have to save money here and there and not buy a PS6. We'll see. Sure. I like this comment from Uncle Ramon, PS 5.5 remix. That's what they should release instead. Just start doing weird Kingdom Hearts versions of your consoles. All right. New poll question. Are you excited about Splatoon Raiders? Yes or no? By the time we get to this poll, that direct will have happened. So if you want to vote now, watch that direct and change your vote. You could always come back to the poll and do so. But we'll get the results on Wednesday's show. Tuesday's show will be the Bombcast instead. So everybody be sure to tune in for that. We got plenty of cool stuff happening this week. It is a short week. We're going to be off for Friday for the 4th, Independence Day here in the United States. But yeah, we'll make a lot of fun stuff happen. And of course, there was all that fun Fishing Week content. Go to store.giantbomb.com. Check that out. Go to our website right now and watch the SGF travel log video that Jim put together. That was a lot of fun. A lot of cool stuff in there. We got a bunch of our friends to play Mario 64. So go watch that. It was a lot of fun. All right. Let's see, with all that out of the way, anything else we got to do? I think what I do is say, Jason, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. As always, happy and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you all for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.